It's me. Leave a message at the beep.
So I just wanted to call to say I really appreciate you, bro. You know, I told you I could watch your kids whenever you want. And, you know, you didn't seem super scared about that, which is cool. You said you could watch my kids, and I pretended to be cool with that despite your, you know, your history of punching babies. It's fine. It's fine. You know what? People make mistakes. And I know. I'm the guy who punched babies, but tell that to the judge, right? But seriously, thanks for telling that to the judge. I really appreciated that. So yeah, watching my kids. I was thinking maybe Friday. You know, it's not a big deal, but we'll be out of town for a while, and I could really appreciate it. Yeah, Tina's serving a 90-day stretch for check fraud, and I'm going into rehab for a bit. So, you know, well, they call it rehab, but it's free and run by a cult, so really it's more of a cult thing without booze, but, you know, if looking at their Yelp reviews or anything, there's probably going to be booze, and they'll make up for it with weird sex. At least that's what I'm counting on. So yeah, swing by anytime Friday or before that. We're actually leaving in about a half hour, but I think they can make it probably until Friday without your help. I mean, we left them a bunch of, you know, junk food and snacks and a big thing of water. They'll be fine. So anyway, cool. I appreciate it. You're the best, man.
Welcome back, one and all. Welcome back. So good to have you back. Oh my gosh, you're back. That's great. I'm so glad to have you here. Hey guys, how's it going? Today is September 7th, which means, of course, it is back to school time. At least in this part of the country. Other parts of the country, we've been back to school for ages, but nope, not here. To me, that means I'm getting my Wi-Fi back. It means I'm getting my internet back. It means a lot of things, but I'll get into that later. So yeah, things are starting to pick up a bit. A couple dozen downloads on iTunes. Search Glossy News if you haven't already. Glossy News is the search to do on iTunes. Good times. Not as many on YouTube. But, you know, I'll remind you, for those of you strictly listening, this is a 4K podcast. It's in UHD. It's in very, very high resolution. And that doesn't mean you have to have 4K to have it. No, it means in the future, when people go back and look at this, they won't say, "Oh man, the resolution was garbage." You know how it is? You look at old YouTube videos and they're in like 240p or 360p and they just look awful. Nope. The idea is years from now, you'll be able to go back, check this out, and it'll still look fantastic. Even if you've got a 1080 or 720 monitor, this is still going to look just great. But the point is, there's so much you're missing out on. My facial expressions for one, my visual graphics, all the overlays I do, the little video clips. You're just missing so much. I hope you'll check out, at the very least, check out a segment or two, if not a whole episode. But really, you don't owe it to me. No, folks, you owe it to yourselves. This is your joy. I'm doing this for you. So, although I could just keep going on this, I'm going to break it there and say, let's get started. So picking up where I was just 2 seconds ago, let's talk about how things are actually going around here, which, as I said, is awfully well. So as of 8/26, which is when I'm recording this, things are finally moving. They're moving along. Let's just say that. I've had about 100 downloads on iTunes on just the first 5 podcasts. And the idea is each new listener, it looks like, tends to go back and review the older ones. So each one starts off slow, gains steam. Even I've had more listeners on the first podcast this month than I did last month when it came out. So that's a good sign. That's a good trend that people are going back to catch up. So I've got essentially, I'd say 24 loyal listeners at this point. And I don't know how loyal they are, but they are listeners, and I count them. YouTube, things are exciting. Subscribers? Oh yeah, I've got subscribers. I've got 12 of them. Now 12 isn't exciting, but that's on over 1,700 views. So I've had 1,700 views on YouTube, which is great, but mostly it's on the snippets. Only 59 views on the podcast itself. And if I look at audience retention to see how long people watch, it's like really, really painful. Like really, really disheartening. So I'm telling you guys, you're missing out. You got to check it out. But yeah, the snippets rule, so I'm going to keep uploading those. So when I do a podcast, maybe it's got 5-10 segments, I'll upload each of the 5-10 segments separately. So if you want to check it out, you can check out just the segments individually. Like you hear something you like and you think, gosh, I wonder what the visuals were on that. Search it. Don't break my heart. Come on. So my first goal is to have more subscribers on YouTube than I have videos on YouTube. So far, I'm off to a terrible start. I've got 12 subscribers and something like 40, 50, 60 videos. It's a little disheartening. But again, I'm here for the love, not the other love. So it's okay. And if your name is Love, and there should be 2 of you thusly named listening, if not 3 or 4, then I'm not actually here for you guys, but I appreciate you listening. So I'm just saying nothing personal or anything. I'm just saying I'm just making a podcast. So the next goal is to get to 100 subscribers. Because at 100 subscribers, you get to use your channel name. So my channel name will eventually be youtube.com/Glossy Podcast. Now I can't use that because I don't have 100 subscribers. It's like, well, why don't I have 100 subscribers? Well, because people can't find my goddamn channel. Well, if it was more popular, we'd make it easier for people to find it. What in the ever-loving fuck does that mean? Oh, it's like one of those, you have to have experience to get a job, but you have to get a job to get experience kind of thing. I don't know. It's bullshit is what it is. There should be exceptions, but YouTube is nothing if not monolithic. So the next goal after that is to have more minutes watched than minutes I spent making the goddamn thing. I know, that's lofty. I'm not going to pretend that that's even remotely doable. And so then, of course, the goal is to actually make money. Now, that's not fair to say that I haven't made money, because I have. I have made money. I've made $1.11, which is $1.11. So that's something. So guys, I need your help. Tell a friend. Share the love. Let's get some eyeballs on this thing. Let's get some ear holes on this thing. I can only do this so long without feeling the love. Will you feel the love with me? Will you, folks? Will you? All right. Next segment. Of course, no sooner did I break for the sake of breaking, I guess, then did I realize I was actually only halfway through the segment. I just wasn't prepared for the second half, so really it worked out well. So, let's look at comments. Ah, yes. Viewer feedback, listener feedback. I'm excited. How do we do this? So first we'll go to libsyn.com, which I assume is on the screen right now, because that's a post-production wonderland right there. And no comments awaiting moderation. You know what? That's fine. That's fine. Let's look at Facebook. Nope. No. Nobody has commented on Facebook. Hey, it's cool. It's cool. You guys are listening, and that's the big thing. Twitter. Okay. Here are all of my posts. Okay, that's a lot. And nobody's... oh, wait. No, I've got responses. Here we go. Ah, Ben Slavens. Slavens? We'll find out in the next segment or two, because he's actually my special guest for today. Kind of diminishes the awesomeness of a retweet when, you know, the guy is obviously a close personal friend and a brilliant master of cinema, if I may say so. So let's look at YouTube. Surely there's comments on YouTube. There has to be. over 1,700 views. Come on, people. Let's look. Oh, 9 comments. 9 comments. Nice. 8 of them are from me. I'll be damned. Oh, Jeff Vachon says, nice. Okay, I will take that. That is from before we actually launched. He was looking at an early preview, but I'll take it. I'll just spoil the fun and tell you Glossy news articles have had either no or essentially no comments. However, just last night, J-Dog himself messaged me out of the blue with some encouraging words. He said, out of the blue, unsolicited, I'm enjoying the podcast. It's like you made it just for me. I'd say I'm your #1 fan. Now, J-Dog is the guy you hear in the opening with the voicemail message, who I am always asking for favors, though in real life, I'd say not quite as much. He was the officiant at my wedding, and he did a absolutely masterful job. He really knocked it out of the park. So he continues, to which I said to him, you are a big part of my demographic, as a percentage. Because percentage-wise, he is a big listener. He says, I've only finished number 3, though. Took a while to be able to find it on iTunes. Well, to the rest of you who may have trouble finding these things, you can always just ask, or look at my Facebook, or look at your own Facebook, or just go to glossynews.com/podcast, where you'll find more links than you care to click on. He says, J-Dog says, lots to like. All of your segments are good, or at least have potential. Love your transition jingles. Mad shout out to Greg the Hero right there. They're just brilliant. Music sounds professional. Good stuff, man. Hot streams for your face. Do you have any other listeners? Because you should. Well, I do have other listeners, but we covered that in the previous segment. But you know what? Hot streams for your face? I guess I'm keeping it. Why don't we go into that right now? Because I've got a hot stream for your face. Let's do it.
Hot streams. Hot streams for your face. Hot streams for your face.
Yeah, hot streams for your face. Why not? I've got some hot streams that my fingertips have generated, have discovered, and I want those streams to go in your eyes and in your ears, and I want you to remember them and think about them, and I want you to think of them so fondly that you share them with other people, that you tell stories about the time Brian gave you a hot stream that you loved so much you couldn't keep it to yourself. So right there, I mean, obviously, I'm onto a winner. This week we're talking about Catch a Contractor, starring Adam Carolla and his contractor buddy Skip Bedell. Skip is a big, roided out, awesome, no-nonsense contractor. His wife is a bounty hunter, skip tracer, private investigator, not a bounty hunter, private investigator who tracks down the stickier contractors. So it's like To Catch a Predator in that people go into homes and do bad things, except this time they steal people's hopes, dreams, confidence, money, and security. So basically what you've got is Adam Carolla, who you may know from Loveline or The Man Show or his incredibly popular podcast. And by the way, podcasting, that's never going to catch on. Don't even waste your time. So Adam Carolla finds people who've had a job half done, but usually more than half paid for. Usually 80 to 90 to 100% paid for. And then the guy just disappears. Skip and Adam come in, look at the work that was done, realize that it's bullshit, track the guy down, confront him, and then make him come back and fix the house. So I don't usually do this, but I'm going to give you an entire Spike TV preview before continuing.
Sorry for the mess.
Show me the spot part because...
All right, here we go. Go, Dixon, go.
All right, so you've done these type of before?
All the time. This
Okay.
is what I do.
All right, so I downloaded these off the internet.
And go, Renato. Go, Dixon, get in there.
Winston! What's going on, Winston?
Oh, finally.
How we doing, man?
What's going on?
You tell us. Remember her? Remember Beth? Look familiar to you?
That's the lady. I sold her a swim spa, but that's not...
You did. You sold her a swim spa and, hang on
Hold
a second.
on,
I just want to
Winston.
talk to you, hear your side of the story.
Contractor's on the run. Follow him out.
Told you he'd run.
How about give us your side of the story, man?
Winston.
What are you taking off for? Listen, she said that you took the money, didn't finish the job.
I didn't
Tell
take
us
the
what
money.
happened.
Liar.
Money?
I subbed out to a guy that didn't finish it.
The agreement was with you, though, right?
You know what? If she would have called me, let me tell you something.
She said she's been trying to reach you for
Wait
months.
a second.
I called him. I texted him.
Wait a
No?
second. Slow down a second.
Yeah, tell me.
If she would have called me on this situation... Oh, hi, Adam Carolla. Hi.
Finally.
Let's get this thing resolved. You know what? This is bullshit.
Oh, God, what an asshole.
That's
I
what
would've
we're here to
just-
do,
I would've
man.
just paid the
Listen,
money.
we just want to try to put this thing
Do
back
it.
together.
Adam,
Yeah, Winston.
She has... This is unbelievable. I put up hard money to get the thing done.
Well,
I'd put up hard money right now.
Let's straighten it out.
Let's
Let's
get
go
this
inside.
straight.
Let's
That's
straighten
easy.
it out.
All right, come on
But
in.
the thing is,
Let's do it.
The thing is, and that's not right for her to even call you because I was the guy who just sold the product, but I didn't sell the assembly of the thing.
I should have called Catch a Contractor because I busted your ass.
Cool, let's get it figured. We'll put this thing back together for her.
Hold on a sec. Come. Let's, Adam, come out here. Just come out here for a second. Let's get this put together for her. Before this turns into a TV show, I did not burn her. The thing is I didn't burn her.
She said you're the guy I had to deal with. She said she
Yeah.
called you multiple times. She didn't show up.
Adam, this is unbelievable.
Why?
Because I sold her the product, but I did not sell her the assembly of the product. That was sold, and I gave the installer $800. I put up $1,000 to make it go away. But does this good thing go to TV or not?
Well, it doesn't.
Here's the bottom line.
Here's what it is,
You know
man.
what?
Here's what it is.
I should countersue her. She's like wacky. I sold the unit to her and said, I have the assembly guy. I paid him $800 up front, and then she couldn't work it out with the installer.
Right. Here's my point, though. So how much was the total money that she paid? Like $5,000 for this thing?
Yeah,
The
and
pool and the installation, right?
Well, minus the money that I pulled out of pocket for the installer.
So,
She's
Winston,
not a straight, this isn't a straight deal where she's a straight shooter on this.
the good news is we can straighten this whole thing out
I
then.
mean, this is unbelievable. If she would have just called me, I would have just left and put money on the deal to make it go away, but I wasn't the installer.
The deal's with you, though, or was with the installer?
The installer, he went 3 times and he can't finish the job because they can't agree on things. And he
All right.
came 3
Let me ask you
times.
this. Who signed the contract, you or Paul?
I signed the agreement for selling of the pool
Right.
with somebody who will do the installation.
You signed the contract. You signed the contract.
But now she's saying that he's incompetent.
Evidently, this guy couldn't get it done, right?
Let me just throw money. Listen, this is better. It'll be $1,000 to get this thing put up. I'll just throw the money at it.
You paid the dude $895, Paul, right?
Right, correct.
She gave you $48.95.
Yeah,
So where's the other
$800.
$4,000 go?
That was for the pool, bro. It's a kid. It's a kid.
Winston, I'm getting sunburned. Let's go in and straighten it out.
You got nothing to lose.
So yeah, that's Catch a Contractor. Telling you, all the more reason you gotta watch the podcast in addition to listening to it. It's a really fun show. A lot of it is a bit contrived. Every single episode, Skip's wife has to track down the contractor using super sneaky means, and there's no way that's the case. Clearly, half the time they just are found. But I tell you, it is a mildly entertaining show, and I mildly recommend it. But for Loveline fans, for Adam Carolla fans, for Man Show fans, this is great viewing. And they're already nearing the end of season 3, so it still has new episodes. There's so many different things to catch. It's really fun. And you can watch this streaming on YouTube through Spike TV's channel for $1.99 an episode. You can also catch it on cable on Spike TV. So if you got a DVR, there's that possibility. And you can also catch it everywhere illegal video streams are available. And I can't, in good conscience, recommend any of those, like primewire.org. I would not tell you to go to that site to watch full episodes of Catch a Contractor, because I think that would be unethical of me to do that. So that's this week's hot stream, all up in your motherfucking business. Or, I guess in your face is what I was trying to get at. So you'd think this would be done by now, this whole segment about Catch a Contractor, but I do these things in advance, and as I finish them, I save them into little bundles, little packages, because on YouTube, the snippets are more popular than the podcasts in their entirety, so figured why not, just do it. And I uploaded it, and I found out that Viacom has banned the video worldwide because I used one of their clips without copyright permission. Yes, Spike TV is owned by Viacom, and it turns out they don't want anybody using their videos, including their effing commercials, their promos that promote the sale of their products on YouTube. You can't use their commercials. They own their commercials. You can't even do a video commenting about them. And I didn't find that out until after I'd already uploaded the entire 7th podcast, which on my connection takes like a day. It takes like a day, because again, the podcast is in 4K. So if you watch the previous segment, what you saw was a highly, highly, highly altered version of the original. Originally, I just had it still in the middle of the page, and kind of smallish. And nope, that still flagged the copyright system. And so, fucking Viacom. And so, what I did this time is I made it smaller and angled and constantly moving, and I put pictures in the background. I'm confident I've circumvented their bullshit system. But fucking dogs, man. Am I going to ever have a podcast without dogs? But what I'm more concerned about, for the sake of YouTubers, for the sake of content creators, for the sake of reviewers... Hang on. Mila! For the sake of content creators, these copyright abuses have to stop. This was... Ooh. Dogs, stop. This was a clear case of commentary, of fair use. Son of a bitch. I am gonna make dog stew. You guys should come over. This is a clear case of fair use. I'm not only promoting, I'm not only commenting on their product, I'm promoting it. I'm trying to put eyeballs on their project. Oh, God, it just drives me insane. So I'm going to stop now, and I'm going to upload this. So hopefully this one will circumvent the system, but I'll find out soon enough. And yeah, hopefully we're done with this bogus BS. I haven't had this problem before, but I have edited the videos substantially more in the past. It's just insanity is what it is. So Viacom, good work being horrible and bad at business at the same time. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. So let's move on to the next segment. Yeah, it's a question, because I don't know yet. So it being September, apparently, let me double check my notes, September 7th? Is that what it is? Yeah, it being September 7th means it's back to school time. And that means a couple things for me. I somehow am responsible for people beyond my sphere of life. I'm not sure how that happened, but it did. So you've got my wife's brother, his girlfriend, and their child who've been living with me. And if you listened to the show last week, you know that I had to bail them out of some trouble before their stuff got sold at auction or in a yard sale. As if. Give me a break. It was all a threat, but whatever. Rosemary is a crazy lady. It's fine. But the big frustration isn't so much that they're eating all my food and taking all my hot water and using up a huge chunk of my house, and it's very frustrating. All that's frustrating, but what's really frustrating is I've got a slow internet connection. It's so slow. And I've got them on Netflix, I've got kids on YouTube, I've got another kid on another Netflix, I've got everybody on everything all the time. I've got 9 people in my house. Is that right? 9 people in my house. And all but one of them use the internet regularly. So this isn't just my home that they've taken over. This is also my place of employment. They're living at my job. So with it being back to school, my big hope is that the kids, obviously they're going to be off the Wi-Fi at least 6-8 hours a day. And hopefully they'll get a place. They were supposed to have a place, but they're on Section 8 and the apartment didn't pass inspection. And they're taking their sweet, sweet time finding another place. It's been 2 days already and nothing has happened. And I'm going to lose my mind. It's already a process well underway, but I assure you it will happen. So remember, it's not just that you're taking people's space. It's not just that you're taking their groceries and their utilities and their patience. You're taking the damn Wi-Fi. And, if the previous segment is anything to go by, you should know I have hot streams that I need to apply to my face. Take that, boy, if you're watching this on YouTube as a standalone segment and you don't know what the previous segment was, that came out badly. But I'm going to let it stand. You don't need to know what it was. That's for the fans of the show and for you to dream up. Maybe it will lead you to be a sponsor of my show. I don't know. And yeah, so we'll go from there. Special guest this week. Special guest. Hopefully this fits in the segment because I'm declaring right now special guest.
Joke of the week, joke of the week, joke of the week.
Yeah, as I've said before, this segment isn't really a joke of the week so much as it's a true story of the week. It's something important and valuable that, anyway, it's not important. Since this is already a J-Dog heavy episode, I'm going to share a J-Dog anecdote. And by anecdote, I mean it's just hearsay, it's unproven, it's probably not true, it's certainly not representative, but I don't give 2/10 of a shit, so let's go. My buddy J-Dog was raised a good Catholic boy. He went to private Catholic school up to grade 5. He was an altar boy. He even went through confirmation classes, and this is at the point where he already knew he was an atheist. So he had to sit down with the priest and say, "Yo, dog, I get what your shit is about. I'm not about it." And the priest was like, well, I appreciate that. I felt the same way at some point in my life. But then I chose to be celibate forever. Whatever. So J-Dog did the confirmation against his will. So one day, J-Dog went into confirmation and told the priest, "Father, I'm afraid that I have been with a loose girl." "Okay, son. What was the girl's name?" Well, J-Dog demurred. "Oh, I can't say." "Was it Maribeth?" asked
asked the priest. No, no, Father. Was it Adelina Crisey? No, Father, my lips are sealed. Was it Cindy Kang? It was Cindy Kang, wasn't it? I can never say, said J-Dog. Oh, come on, boy. I'll find out soon enough. It was June Smith, wasn't it? No, you weird old creepy guy dressed in fucking Halloween clothes all year round. Well, it has to be Brittany Cummings, though. Come on, admit it. Father, I will never tell you. The priest said, all right, fine. For your sin, you cannot be an altar boy for 4 months. J-Dog was like, okay, Father, fair enough. Fair's fair. All's fair and fair and love and war and religion and peace and whatever it is that you guys do around here. Okay, Father. So J-Dog leaves, and his friends say, so what'd you get, like 30 Hail Marys? And J-Dog looked at his buddy and he was like, no, I got 5 good leads, 4 months vacation, and the priest didn't even want to diddle me because I'm, ostensibly straight. And I should point out, to this day, J-Dog is ostensibly straight. I mean, we've kissed and stuff. We've partaken of the same threesomes. I mean, we once beat up a hobo together just to steal his condoms. I've probably said too much. We once murdered a tranny in Hong Kong because we thought she was going to expose us. It's, it's too much. I probably said too much. This has gotten too serious. Holy fuck. This joke of the week, I didn't even record it on the goddamn microphone. Well, this segment, my apologies for this segment sounding subpar, but at least now you know why. So this is kind of fun. Ask and the universe shall deliver. Here, let me turn on some more lights for those of you actually watching. Oh, so much better. Ask and the universe shall deliver. I went on Facebook a while back and asked for a mouse pad, and nobody, and I mean nobody, had the good graces to provide me with one on account of them being just too worthless to even consider. But magically, Puyallup Fair, the Washington State Fair, what do they call it? Washington State Fair, do the Puyallup, September 11th through 27th. Bam! Magically appeared. I'd like to pretend that this is because they heard this, but it isn't. I'm on their mailing list because I'm what I'd like to call an erstwhile travel writer, in that I like to use the word erstwhile, and I used to be a travel writer, so it's pretty awesome. And it's I've got a mouse pad. It's awfully small. It's not what I would consider grown-up size, but it's a great start. So thank you, universe, for looking out for me. Bitch.
They are with dreams.
So this was a segment I thought of early on, but I kind of decided against doing. But then, I kind of ran short on material, so I figured, what the hell? So in the late 90s, early 2000s, I was placed on a psychiatric drug called Cerazone. Cerazone has since been pulled off the market for a number of reasons, not least of which is that it gave people heart attacks. It didn't give me a heart attack, but one of the common side effects was fucked up dreams, of which I had plenty. So in the first dream, the first one I can remember, and this is crazy, I was wandering through a warehouse. It was very dark, it was very blue, it was very industrial, and there was some project at hand. I didn't know what it was. And things got darker and weirder as my head grew more lethargic, and I was getting drowsy, but I was part of something. And then I realized, wait a minute, I'm on a meat hook. I was literally hung by my rib cage on a meat hook in a locker. There was a bunch of us in there, but we were all given sedatives, so we just pass out. But there weren't enough sedatives to go around, and the ones they gave me didn't work. We were all being drained into a central blood cistern. Basically, we were there to provide blood for heroes, vampires, who knows. But I awoke in the middle of it, and I was like, you know what? No. Forget this. I'm out of here. I don't know how, but I pulled myself up off the meat hook. I pulled the IVs out of my arms, but I was very weak. So I tried to make my way out. I was like, you know what? I'm getting out of here. And I broke out of the room and realized I was in a much, much bigger room. Like a 4th or 5th story industrial warehouse with light just pouring in from the sides. And I looked around and there was just no way in hell I could make it to the curb. So I was too weak to continue. There's no way out. So I went back in to the meat locker, to the cooler, where everyone else was up on hooks. I desperately tried to put myself back on my hook. I was resigned to my fate. I said in my own dream, listen, I know I'm gonna die. I'm okay with dying. I just don't want to get in trouble. I'd left so much blood on the floor. I mean, maybe that's a normal dream, but certainly not a normal dream you'd remember. And that's what Cerazone did for me, babies.
Church of Brian.
Welcome to the church of which the what is of the Brian. The Brian Church, the Church of Brian. Welcome, brothers and sisters. So, how do we deal with conflicting origin stories? Because those are real. Those are going to happen. I don't care how insular your community, you're going to hear evolution versus religion. You're going to hear Christianity versus Buddhism versus Hinduism. You're going to hear it all. And that's fine. Because while I don't support any number of deities, there have been hundreds of thousands of deities, I don't support. You and I can agree that all the Norse gods are absurd and bullshit. We can agree that those gods from that other religion are bullshit. But what about that religion we grew up with? Well, that's where we come to a bit of a head. You might say there are millions of false gods and one true God. And I would agree with you. Though I would go just one God further. So I'm okay with that. That's okay. Because I cannot know which God is the one true correct or if there is any God. I can't know that. I'm just a man. Thing is, what we do know is that the religious books we've been fed are factually wrong. We know that because merely studying them proves as much. So perhaps they're divinely inspired. Perhaps folks like Moses did hear the voice of God and just chose to be, unbelievable, monumental a-holes in spite of knowing God. That's possible. Perhaps in the books, in the various holy scriptures, there are transcribing errors. That's likely. That's not just likely. That's verified. There was a book a few years back misquoting Jesus. Yeah. The author showed with no uncertainty that our most popular fables from the Bible are in fact bullshit. That's not to say that the whole of Christianity is wrong, but it is to say that there is room for doubt. So, this week's Church of Brian, what I wish to impart upon you, my dear, dear brothers and sisters, is two things. One, that you should not take merely upon faith that which you do not know. Research it. Do the math. Find out for yourself. And two, this cult is just not coming along. I need your help. I'm waiting for you. Will you be my partner? My partner in crime. My partner in fame. I'm looking for someone to join me. That's it for this week's Church of Brian. So yeah, guys, language has meaning, language has purpose, language has value, language carries weight. Can we please stop referring to them as abortion clinics? It's bullshit. They're not abortion clinics. That's a very, very small % of what they do. That's like 1/33 of what they do. It's like 1/30th at the most. They're not abortion clinics. Can we call them maybe daughter safety clinics? Can we call them wife health clinics? I don't know. I don't know what we should call them. Can we call them crazy cat ant birth control clinics? That's got some sticking power. I like that. Can we call them happy vag clinics? Safe vagina clinics. I like that. Unsick, sticky, or off orifices. I don't know. We've got to call them something other than abortion clinics, because that's not what they are. And there are a lot of places, Planned Parenthood locations, that have been shut down that are not only are they not abortion clinics, they don't even provide abortion. So, based on conservative rhetoric versus action, How about we call them the temple of your hooker doesn't give you something sick to take home. I like that. It's got a nice ring to it. It's important to note that no matter who you are, a parent, a lover, a cheater, women's health issues are important to everyone. Do you really not want women who are willing to have sex with you to have no access or not enough? You get the idea. You get the idea. So these places do endless breast cancer screening. So why don't we call them the Perfect Boobie Emporium? I mean, boobies are... Come on, let's look at it from the biblical perspective. Boobies are best enjoyed by men within the confines of marriage. That's in Psalms. And I'm probably going to put it up on the screen because there's a lot of boobie worship in the Bible. And if you haven't been to Sunday school recently, perhaps you don't know that. But trust me, boobie worship is all up in that Bible. We don't call, as long as we call them abortion clinics, we're losing the battle. A urologist is not called a sterility factory, even though they do that, kind of all the time. A mammologist, and by the way, I may have just coined that, but someone who regularly performs mammograms is a mammologist. I'm just staking my claim to that. A mammologist isn't called a grope this bitch's tight titties, rape me now. Rape me now. That's not what he does. That's not what he advocates. Unless, your name is Josh Duggar, or you're underage, in which case your name might be Jared Fogle. I don't know. Sick fucks and hypocrites both. If they call it, here's the thing. The Republicans like to change the meaning of words. So when they wanted to deforest the national forests, they wanted to use government money to put in roads, to pull down logs. They called it the Healthy Forests Act. When they wanted to increase pollution, they called it the Clear Skies Act. When they didn't like Obamacare, which was previously Romneycare, which was previously Dolecare, which was previously Nixon Care, they called it a government takeover of health care. Ooh. I'm looking at you, Frank Luntz. You've got no place in heaven nor hell. No. Then we can call these places what they really are. They're not merely women's health clinics, but they're places that ensure white male Republicans, white male Republican fun remains safe and free of any need to explain anything to your wives. Maybe it's a mistress. Maybe it's a prostitute. Maybe it's a kid you met in Thailand. I don't give a shit. I'm just saying, health clinics are health clinics. I'm not pretending liberals have a monopoly on purity. I'm saying they don't make it a pillar of their crumbling platform, all the while knowing firsthand it's a literal impossibility. I mean, seriously. To paraphrase too many of my favorite rappers, bitches be fucking. More broadly, kids be fucking. You can't stop that. That's just the way it goes. So, let's see. I should point out, I have never been with another lover, woman or man since I married my wife. Yeah, that's a fact. Sure, there were countless dozens while we were betrothed. But if anal doesn't count as cheating, surely none of the countless partners I had while we were having children together did. I'm going to guess, I don't know, somewhere between 80 and 80,000. That's how many lovers I had while my now wife and I were engaged. No, not just engaged. Let's say 8 million and go back to when we first met. Yeah, that's a fact. A fact is anything that can be proven true or false. And I'm suspecting you can prove that false. So anyhow, let's see. So, let's see. Yep. So, leave me a comment, shoot me an email, leave me a message somehow, anyhow you can, and maybe you can be my first cheat. And I'm not saying that there's someone I have in mind, but I'm saying I'm looking at you, J-Dog. Yeah. So my apologies to Ben Slavens, who is coming within the next, 12 to 18 hours, but didn't make it in time for this podcast. He's a really, really sharp guy. He's an amazing cinematographer. He does really great work, and he knows a bit about politics, even for a guy as young as he is. So with that said, yeah, it's time to sign off. So let's pretend to do a segue. Well, that's it for the podcast this week. I'd like to say that my new windscreen is doing better, though it is, but not better enough. I'd like to be able to cough and pop into it without it, maxing out the level. It's not important. So, follow me on glossynews.com/podcast. That's where you're going to find everything. iTunes, Libsyn, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit. It's all there. glossynews.com/podcast. The only reason I can imagine that you wouldn't look at it is because you're a dick. Are you a dick? That's up to you. That's something only you can tell me. Ya dick. Nope. I pull that back. You're not a dick, because you're going to go to glossynews.com/podcast, and you get the idea. The segment bumpers by Greg the Hero. God, he's amazing. All the segment bumpers they're just amazing. Royalty-free music by Kevin MacLeod. And, if you're, if you're feeling charitable, then why don't you dance with me for these last few seconds? Yeah. I can't actually hear the music. I'm not just tone deaf, I'm literally deaf. I can't hear the music. The music is added in post-production. But you know what? I think you guys are awesome. And I'm stunned and shocked and amazed how easy this podcast was compared to the previous bunch. Those took those took an awful lot of time. And this one took, I don't know, less than a day. So either I'm getting better at this, or you people can't tell the difference between a shit podcast and a decent one. And I'm happy either way. Let's take it. Let's take it either way. So let's just, ride it out.